Let's go ahead and take a look at Rise. So when you first go into Rise, the first thing that you will see is this Getting Started card here, and what that is it's an overview of Rise and just some of the features of Rise. You'll also see this card that's on creating a new course, and then a course that's already been created. So today I'm not going to create a new course, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this sample course and show you guys the sample course and then export it to web so that we can edit it offline. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this. So this is the sample course here, and we can preview this. So when I click preview, we'll see what it looks like, and you can see how it would look on tablet, how it would look on landscape, tablet, mobile, portrait, and also mobile landscape. But we're just going to go ahead and take a look at this. You can see there's lots of text in here. There's also some different images and such throughout this course. And what we're going to do is we're going to change out the text. And I think that you could also change out the images, but I have not tried that yet. So what I would suggest doing is, if you have a course that may have sensitive information, so you don't want to put that information in the cloud, you can fill this out with lorem ipsum or some sort of dummy text, and then afterwards go into the source file and add in the actual text that you want to add in. So there's a lot of different things that you can do inside of Rise. And what I want to do is go ahead and export this. So I'm going to click export, and we're going to export this for no LMS, web only, just because I want it to be as simple as possible for right now. And then when I select export, that will download my file for me in my zipped package. Now I've gone ahead and extracted my folder for this project, and I'm going to go and double click and go into content, and you'll see two different folders here in one file. The assets folder here is what will have all of your different assets, so your pictures, your videos, your audio if you have audio, and I have not tried to change these out, but I would assume that if you named some of your images whatever the same are in here, if they're images that you don't want to live in the cloud, you can replace them in here, and hopefully that will be replaced in the course as well. But we're not going to go ahead and do that. We're going to just edit some of the text. So I'm going to go back, and then if I go into my index file here, I want to right click and open it with a text editor. In this case, I'm using Sublime Text as my text editor. So what this is going to do is open just the file with the code in it, and what you can see is, you can see here we're attaching some different things up here, like some icons and some fonts and things like that that I have not fiddled around with to change out, but I'm guessing that that's something I can also change out. But I'm going to come down here, and this is the important part that you guys are going to want to know about. So if you scroll through this whole entire index.html file, what you're going to see and notice is where you would think that it might be your information, your lorem ipsum that you may have put in there, you're going to see it doesn't exist. But what you are going to see is this string here, and this white string, if I select from before the quote down to the end quote, you're going to see all of this here, and it seems like a lot. And what this is actually all of that information. So this is all the text information and other types of information that makes up your course, and it's been encoded. And what we need to do in order to edit this, and where your lorem ipsum or whatnot might be, is to decode the encoded information. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to copy, and I'm going to go ahead and delete. And what I should have left right here is just my beginning quote and end quote. And what I need to do is to decode this. And what you can do to decode this is you can either download or you can use online a base 64 encoder and decoder. So one like this here. And just for this example, I'm going to use this. And it's also important to use the UTF-8 because that's what's going to allow you to decode it properly and encode it properly. So we want to take that copied information and we want to decode it. So we're not encoding it, we're decoding it. So I'm going to make sure I have the decoder selected. I'm going to paste that information right into there, and then I'm going to select decode. And when I select decode, you'll see something that's like a little bit more readable, but still not super readable. And you can see all of that information from in your course. So what I can do is go ahead and copy this, and of course it's a lot of information. This course is a little bit big, so you're going to see a lot of information. And oops, actually I want to delete that. I want to open a new file just so I can kind of read this a little bit better, even though it's like super hard to read still. And if I want to change out some of this information, I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this out and then just rename this lorem ipsum. Even though I would be doing the opposite, I would have my title and whatnot be lorem ipsum and change it out, but I'm just going to do the opposite here. So we can see that, we can see there's a description here. So if I go from this paragraph tag down to this one, I have some information and I can get rid of that. And obviously this is a super complex and difficult way to do this, so I'm hoping that Articulate builds something in where it's easier to change out the information not in the cloud, because I know a lot of corporate folks just we can't necessarily put a lot of information out there because you never know who might get your password or log in, and it's just very hard to put sensitive information out there and make sure that it's secure, even if, you know, a lot of software companies say it's secure. It's not always the same way that we would want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I just made 2 little changes, and you'll see there's other things in here. Like you'll see some of the images are in here with the original URLs and different things like that as well. But I just changed out some of the text. So if I go back to my encoder and decoder, what I want to do is go back and encode this, because if I put it in the way that it is now, it's not going to work. So I need to encode this. I'm going to paste that in there, and I'm going to encode this. And then I'm going to select all, and I'm going to copy that. And now before I just go ahead and put that in there, what I want to do is to go ahead and save this file, because I want to see what happens if there's nothing in there. So I'm going to open my content and just display that in one of my browsers. And right now you can see nothing shows up because it's not getting any of that information. So what happens if I put that information back in? So I'm going to go ahead and paste that information in there and save. And I'm going to refresh, and hopefully that was the right one because I just tried this before that. So all right, cool. So now you can see I did change out some of this. So I changed out in the title there that was lorem ipsum, and I could go ahead and change out more of this text in here as well. So that's just an example of how we might, and you can see I changed that little description down here, how we might change out some of this information in Rise, but off of the cloud. So I hope that was helpful. I know it's a little bit of a complex way to do it, but it's the way that I found to do it for right now.